I didn't do the head bob.
But, yeah. I think every ball, everybody got to say it now.
I think go down the line, Marcus. Here. All right, go ahead. Nice part. On Monday, so you can all wait until 5 p.m. What happened? Yesterday, they got outside of the and gold, and he died.
It's shocking how healthy he looks. He looks like J.K. Dobbins before 5 years, how good he looks. And then Bo Nix, his fourth quarter was outstanding. How fast he played. Evan Ingram finding a way to get into the end zone.
On the side, so Broncos Virgin Nick by Frank Franklin again, though. It's good. The Broncos go up 18-17. And this would be the first loss. We'll give the back that sideline. So here, the ball is from the safe part. Yes. Okay, Marty.
I thought this flag was terrible. I mean, he's right. That on the football. It's not going to lift his hit. He gets there almost simultaneously. Bad call.
All right, 9 seconds to go in the game. Same score. The Eagles trying to make it happen right here. Broncos 29. West Unita. Throws downfield. Cannot connect. Dallas Goddard. Nick Sirianni's looking for a flag. You see it there. And Goddard grabs as he tries to make the catch. But no flag was thrown. So the next play, the Eagles with one final chance, 4 seconds to go. Hurts throws toward the end zone into a sea of defenders. The ball hits the ground, incomplete. The Broncos come back to win it, and here's Saquon Barkley after the first loss of the year for the Eagles.
I really don't know what people want. I touch the ball too much sometimes. We're not throwing enough. We throw too much. Only have 9 touches. Like, I'm not in the business of, what are we doing enough? I'm in the business of winning football games, and we didn't win the football game. With 9 touches, we had the opportunity to win a football game still, and we didn't. So, a little detail, too many mistakes, too many penalties.
The Eagles might still be 4-1, but they've been outgained in terms of total yards in all 5 games this season. They're just the second defending Super Bowl champion to start a season that way, joining the 1987 Giants, who started 0-5 and missed the postseason. Didn't help. The quarterback Phil Simms missed 3 of those games, of course, you remember correctly. Dan, why was that Eagles offense so stagnant yesterday?
Stagnant, that's a word to describe it. It's the most predictable offense in the NFL right now, one of them. I mean, if the Eagles are in the shotgun on first and second down, they're throwing the ball. They don't ever play under center anymore, and if they do, it's a guaranteed run, it feels like. And then what happens is early downs are killing this offense. They're not good on early downs right now, which is something they dominated in last year. So on early downs, they're behind the chains, and then they get into obvious second and or third downs, passing situations, and they're not built to handle all those different disguises and pressures. And they're still predictable with their routes. I mean, these are the third downs in the second half yesterday. A.J. Brown runs a slant in. They get to 3rd and 15, and then Benito runs a stunt. They get to 3rd and 13, and here's an all-out bluff pressure that is simulated with 7 guys in coverage. That's not how this offense is built to play. It's still wildly too predictable, and if they get into obvious passing situations and you play zone behind it, advantage defense.
Yeah, I hear a number of conversations going on about how the offensive line is not the same, but there are circumstances where they're not giving them a chance. And these condensed formations and these splits that they're creating where people are now starting to crowd the line of scrimmage for Saquon Barkley, this is one example of it right here. We're in the shotgun, and we get to the point where you can count the box. Look at this condensed formation. Everything is inside almost the hashes by the time you get this motion activity. Look how many defenders are around Denver. They trigger this. The safety goes up into the line of scrimmage. They try to bring a backside wide receiver on like a trap action, and Saquon now is already in the line of scrimmage. You see them insert again. It is just so crowded around there. You look at the pass that he was able to hit for a touchdown. They went out, found him space, found him a one-on-one to get going. To me, this is about the offensive coordinator. And listen, y'all, we've had this conversation about Phil Philly before. And they were able to get it fixed and manage how they play football going forward. I 100% agree with you, Dan. But if I'm looking at a 9-man box in shotgun with Jalen Hurts and just Saquon Barkley back there on an early down, what are we doing running just a regular?
It's also not a play-action offense either.
And the condensed formations, to go off of that, the tight ends aren't good enough at blocking for them to pull that off the way some other teams that have more condensed looks are. I feel like the story of the game for me was just that Denver, and it's crazy to say this about an Eagles team, was better in the trenches on both sides of the ball.
Oh, sure.
It was predictable going into it for sure, but it was so obvious. And you've been talking about the offense. I'm going to focus on the Eagles defense, not the Denver defense. That four-man rush just isn't getting it done right now. You lost players in free agency from the Super Bowl team, but it was predicated, or like the hope for them being still good again was predicated on the idea of Jalen Carter taking over football games. He's not taking over football games right now. I think he's hurt. He's playing hurt, and he's getting doubled a lot. But even when he is getting doubled, no one's taking advantage of the one-on-one. So at the moment, this pass rush to me is just not sufficient to play the style of football they want to play structurally. Fangio dialed up some good blitzes in this game. That felt like the only way they could get pressure.
Yeah, let's give some love, though, to this Broncos defense. How, RC, were they able to just contain Philly so well?
I mean, Dan started off, right? They don't handle pressure well, and it was simulated pressure. It was 5-man fire zones. They also brought Talanoa Hufanga up to the line of scrimmage, and you were able to bluff, but also drop defenders opposite him to put pressure on the quarterback. There's a huge sack by McMillan late in this game. Also, Hufanga was able to put pressure on Jalen Hurts and get the football out of his hand. I thought that Vance Joseph knew that they would play well on early downs, and then it was about making Jalen Hurts make decisions on third down. And you know this, if you're in off coverage with the pressure, you're going to get a hitch, you're going to get a stop, you're going to get a slant. If you give them an opportunity to throw the fade because you're impressed, that's exactly what you're going to get. So you will basically eliminate more than half of the route tree just by presenting pressure to the Philadelphia Eagles. So not only are they stagnant with the initial play call, they also don't adjust with any creativity.
And Boogie, that's what's concerning, because when we talked about Philly being dominant, it was always them dictating what you did
setting
defensively.
the tone,
like setting the tone beyond the physicality formation-wise, using RPO with Jalen, using zone read with Jalen. They have, like, defenses are just lining up at the line of scrimmage and going forward against the Philadelphia Eagles.
Part of it, too, both guards are essentially gone from last year with Dickerson's injury, so then it's all connected. Bad early downs, you're not an overly exotic protection team on second down, and teams know if they follow the Tampa model of fire zone pressure you're not going to have success against that defense.
I'm glad you brought up the Dickerson injury, because we are going to bring in Adam Schefter right now with the latest on some top stories going on right now. We begin, Adam, with Landon Dickerson. What can you tell us about the Eagles' offensive lineman?
Laura, he's been hurt all year long, played through injury, limped off the field yesterday against the Denver Broncos. The Eagles had to play without him yesterday. And let's keep in mind, the Eagles now have a short week with a game Thursday night against the Giants as he deals with this injured ankle. Hard to imagine that somebody like that is going to be able to play Thursday night, but he's been so tough and such a warrior, anything is always possible. Meanwhile, Amarian Hampton was in a walking boot after the game yesterday, got kicked in the foot, ankle, leg area. Obviously did not look good. He left the game, did not come back. Looked like he could move around a little bit, but the fact that he was not back was not encouraging. And the injury news for the New England Patriots a short time ago was bad. Their running back Antonio Gibson did suffer a season-ending torn ACL last night against the Buffalo Bills. Test today confirmed that it was torn. You saw Gibson leave the field last night, very emotional. And another big injury today, the Colts kicker Spencer Schrader suffered a season-ending knee injury against the Raiders, torn ligaments in the knee. He had been one of the best kickers in the NFL this season, and that's going to be a major loss for the Colts, trying to have to replace a kicker that had been that good and that reliable.
You just hate to see these injuries this season. There seems like there's been more than I remember in recent years, but maybe I say that every year. Thanks to Adam. You're with us throughout the 2 hours. We'll check back in with you for more updates.